The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. I'm going to get on my soapbox for about 30 seconds here. Boys and girls, don't blame the jury about what happened in San Francisco. That has to do with the prosecution. They did not do a very good job, is my opinion. I don't think you can blame the jury. Anyway, the one thing I do want to mention is the name of that gun that was used was a Sig Sauer. That is the best handgun that you can buy, period. And it's a Swiss-German made. I happen to have a very good friend here in the den here that was able to get one of these, and those are great guns, and the absolute chance of that gun going off accidentally is somewhere between 0 and 0.0. End of story. Let's take a look here at the German DAX. As you can see here, we had that Gartley yesterday, just absolutely perfectly up there. And of course, after that, we've had a big move to the downside. So that's the main thing that we want to be watching here, because this market has certainly not gone up like the rest of the Dow Jones and some of the other. The Dow Jones was mainly the banking stocks, folks, J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Travelers, all those, American Express, those were the ones that were moving, but it still went up. We'll cover that in just a minute, but I wanted to talk just a little bit about the silver market and the gold market, because I think we're coming into something very, very important here, and we'll be watching it closely here these next few days. Remember, folks, that coming into next week, our good friend Norm Winsky pointed out to us that we do have this this new moon coming in here on the 3rd, and we also have Mercury going retrograde. Folks, I'm sure you all remember President Reagan. His wife Nancy was very big into astrology, and they would not do anything, sign any major proclamations or orders or anything during the time when Mercury was retrograde. And here we are coming into Mercury retrograde on the 3rd with this big tax bill outstanding. That's probably not a good idea. I don't know if it's going to be different this time or not, but I've made it a point never to buy a new car or do anything really important during the time when Mercury was retrograde during that 6-week period. Put it off until it's over. And the reason why I think it's important, and technically it is, because if you listen to Dr. Andrew Lowe's book, The Evolution of Technical Analysis, the first 50 pages in there, he talks about the Sumerians and the Babylonians and how they wrote on these tablets about wheat and corn, and they would put the lunar cycle in there, and they would also put the Mercury cycle on those tablets. So they were using that 6,000-7,000 years ago, and that's supposedly back when we were killing our meat and eating it raw. Anyway, that's what we're watching. Anyway, the silver market, and let's just get this up here. You can see it was not going up when we were breaking out to the upside in gold. Silver wouldn't even budge, and now we're breaking down below some key support. Now, I wanted to show you the support here where we are in gold, because I was getting ready, in the silver. I wanted to show it to you this morning because as you can see here, let me bring this up here on the daily chart on silver, and then we'll see it a little bit differently here. But you'll notice that we are back down to that 61% retracement that we are in October. That number came in at 1634, and now we've broken down below that level, 1634. That tells us we're going to drop another 60 or 70 cents, which lines up pretty nicely of what we're trying to find on on the gold market. And here we got this big cycle stuff coming here on Wednesday of next week. I really think that's what you want to do, is wait for that, and you'll get a better opportunity, to be a buyer of these. I wanted to do one other thing. I'm going to do more of this, of course, for the newsletter this weekend to really go into it in depth. But if we take a look here at the gold market, and we said this before, but we'll just look at it again here. This is the chart on gold going back to 2012. You'll notice here that in 2013, you'll notice that we bottomed there. We had a really nice rally of over $160 an ounce. In 2014, we rallied almost $130 an ounce. In 2016, we rallied $320 an ounce. And then last year, we've rallied $200 an ounce. And here we are now coming into December. And I believe that we've got a chance here for something really big to happen in gold. Look at this pattern really closely, folks. When we were there last year, when gold was trading at that 1130 level, we had a beautiful 20-man line right there, just perfectly from 2014. It was exactly at the 78% level. It made a perfect head and shoulders bottom pattern, and it led to a pretty substantial rally in the gold where we went up and touched the highs from 2016. We couldn't get above them, which means that it is still bearish. Now, whether this market is going to bottom in December or not remains to be seen, but the probability is such right now that it looks as a really strong probability of doing that. I'll have to update this over the weekend to do all the gold and silver, but that's what it looks like, on a cyclical basis and just looking at the patterns. And I think that would be the main thing. When I was doing this morning, folks, I had a tremendous a revelation of one of my neighbors in Westlake Village, who was a plastic surgeon at UCLA. His name was Ernie Rodriguez. He was a Harvard-trained plastic surgeon. He taught plastic surgery at UCLA, and he would come into the office there at Conti Commodity, and when he saw something that he really liked, he would talk in Spanish about. He would say, "Que hora de hora es con las dos manos." In other words, it is time to buy this with both hands. And this is what it looks like in silver. But the question that someone's asked me over the evening was, how do you handle these when you're at major swing points? And our friend Mr. Z was kind enough to send us this chart, and we're going to look at a few others. But you'll notice here, just a second here. We'll get it out of the way here. That doesn't work. I hope that posted. I think it did. Let's see. Yes. But anyway, you'll notice that 1634 level was hit twice, and now we've broken down substantially below it. The way you handle that, folks, is you wait. Give yourself a half an hour. You don't have to, to try to buy the low tick. I mean, you like to do that sometimes, but you can't really do that. Gator, I don't know why you've got the full moon up there, because it's a new moon coming in here. Unless I'm wrong, let me double check. Nope, it's a new moon coming in here on Wednesday. Wow, what does it say that for? That's not right. Huh. Yeah, it's Wednesday. A full moon of sun. That cannot be right. Uh-oh, what's wrong here? It says there's a full moon on the 3rd. That's right. Why is that different? I see what it is. Okay, you're right. It is a full moon, and the Mercury is retrograde. Boy, oh boy, this is the end of days nursing home. We also have Mercury retrograde that day. Yeah, right. That's for sure. Anyway, wow. Judge is ruling on that one. Oh, right.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, folks, we're going to be talking just a tiny bit more about the astrology part. I have to blame this on myself because I use the astro calendar from Norm Winsky, and he had the new moon there because it was from last month, and then when I looked down, I realized that the full moon is here. And if I had to look outside this morning, I could have seen how bright it was because it was almost like daylight here in Arizona. Anyway, Mercury will be going on retrograde motion on the 3rd of December, and it comes off, it goes direct back on the 22nd. So there's going to be that period of about 14 days where it's going to get really crazy. And I would imagine we're going to see some really wild volatility in here. Now, they're not going to be passing this tax bill for quite some time. So I hope if it ever does pass, but hopefully they'll do it after the 22nd of December, which is, that Christmas week. So it's going to be interesting to see if that is going to happen. Now, I posted the chart of the Dow Jones Emini in here. You can see we had a tremendous run, as everybody can see, when those banking stocks went nuts once that Senator McCain said that he was going to vote for the tax bill. The Dow at one time was up 380 points, and then we had this tremendous volatility come into the S&P where it was down 10, up 10, just very, very quickly, which is a sign of something coming on. Folks, this I think is really big in the volatility index because when you get the market up 300 some points and the volatility index goes up, you don't see that very often. So I think it means a lot. But again, we live in interesting times, as the old Chinese curse says. So we'll watch this. Let's take a look here at the NASDAQ because our good friend Steve Rhodes here at TFNN pointed this out several times yesterday, of the importance of the support and resistance that came in here. And if you like Fibonacci numbers, you'll see here that the NASDAQ was just absolutely nearly spot on perfect after we made the bottom down there at 62.80. We rallied all the way up 100 handles to 63.80, which was a 61% retracement. Then we broke down, and then we had to rally back right up to exact 78% level, which was a Gartley pattern. And then we had another big move down where it dropped down 70 points last night. And if you'll notice, that last big drop was when there was a little bit of problem with the tax bill, when 4 of the senators have said, well, maybe we won't vote for it. And so that's why it sells off. So everything is based on this tax bill, at least from the emotional part of it. But technically, the market is acting, relatively well, because right after we made that bottom, we rallied right up to that 63.50 level again, which was nothing more than a 61% retracement of the last high. So it's following really nicely, for technical patterns. So that's what we'd like to see, and we'll see what's going on. One other thing that's important is, I check the open interest each day, and yesterday was really important because of the big move we had of 380 points in the Dow. Folks, it's hard to believe, but we had a 380 point move up in the Dow Jones, and we had virtually no open interest increase in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I mean, virtually nothing. It was just about unchanged, within a few hundred either way. The big one was the Russell and also the S&P 500. The S&P 500 had an open interest increase of 75,000 contracts. Folks, that is huge. And it was 2.5% of the total volume that was out there. We did almost the same thing in the Russell, which is the second largest, and the NASDAQ, just like the Dow Jones, did absolutely nothing. So as Basil Chapman would say, we have a bifurcated market. But it's the Dow Jones, of course, are the 30 of the stocks that are price weighted. They're not based on capitalization, so the higher price stocks will move the Dow more. And of course, it was Caterpillar and Goldman Sachs, and all of them getting high price now. But that's neither here nor there. Now, we did get a really interesting chart from one of our listeners here today that came from Goldman Sachs. Evidently subscribes to their service, but they are talking about the valuations that are out here over the past 120 years. You go back to 1900 and you'll see these big swings. The thing to pay attention to, folks, are the lows and the highs. Those are the ones that you want to be watching, because anytime you're making new lows, like if you look at 1920 before the big run up, if you look at 1982, you'll see the 82 bottom in there. That's when the S&P was trading at 103, and now you see where we are. We're just making new highs in some of these things. But this is valuations, folks. You can't trade a valuation. You have to trade the stock charts, and that's what your job is supposed to be. But I do believe that we are going to see some really incredible volatility coming here these next towards the whole month of December. Should be just really very, very volatile. Usually it's a low volume month, and low volume can lead to huge volatility. So I think it's important to see if that's going to be the case. But it will be interesting, as they say. It's a Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. But we'll be able to look at it. If you ever go to Beijing, you can go to where Confucius lived, his estate, and you'll see these oak trees that are, oh my God, they must be 1,000 years old. An incredible place, but they've let it run down. At least it was 20 years ago when I went to see it, which was unfortunate because of Mao, he didn't get the status that he really should have. But anyway, if you ever get there, you ought to take a look at it. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Someone had a question about, if I can just get it up here, it's about the Treasury bonds. Folks, there's been a huge move in Treasury bonds in the, we'll just get this up here because we've been bearish on these for a while and we're starting to go down. But the big bond move has happened in China. There's been basically a collapse in the bond prices. Rates have gone above 4% in bonds in China, which is quite a bit. So whether that's a prelude of what's going to happen here, I'm not sure, but the bond chart and the note chart still look very, very poorly. I don't think that there's, I don't see any reason to change it here. We've broken down, below most of the support we've been waiting for. It's a question of whether we're going to see any type of a rally and to see what's going on. By the way, if you're interested in that Goldman article, Fletch here in the Tiger Den has put it in there. You'll take a look at it 9:23 a.m. All you have to do is click on that, and you'll be able to see what you were looking at here, and we'll see what we're watching here. Okay. Basically, it was these stocks that have been hit the hardest, of course, have been the high-tech stocks, Apple and Amazon and some of the others, but they're still way up in the air. But the fact that they were hit and they were the leaders, and this is how it happened in 2000, folks. It was the Nasdaq led it up. The Dow had topped in January, and the Nasdaq didn't top until March 24th. So maybe it's switching around. Maybe this isn't a top. I don't know. All I know is we're coming into one heck of a big cycle date here on Tuesday and Wednesday that really deserves our attention, and we'll see where the patterns are at that time. 877-927-6648. We'll be back and talk about copper.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's nadex.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're going to take a look at the copper market here. As you can see, we had this head and shoulders pattern form when it reached up to that 318 level. We came down to 306, this week, and now we had the big wide range down. We're in a little bit of a rally here of about 3 cents, but it certainly looks like the copper wants to complete that bigger ABCD pattern, down below the $3 a pound level in copper. So that pattern is still valid as near as I can tell. So it's still following pretty much what we expected it to do. If you'll remember, we talked about these currencies quite a bit yesterday, especially in the euro. And this is another good example of how to look at swing points, because the question that we had from Mr. Z and also from Marshall is, how do you know when a swing point is going to hold? And you really don't, but because you have to wait to see if it's going to hold. Now, if you look here at the euro last night, or night before last, on the 30th, well, that was last night, wasn't it? And you'll notice that we went right down, and took out the low from the previous day by just a couple of pips, and then the market immediately rallied. I mean, that was a really strong example, as opposed to what happened in silver today, when the market broke below the previous low and didn't rally. It continued to go lower, and that's all you can really do. Now, if you turn that around and look at the top in the market today, in the euro, when we hit the 119.35 level, the 78% retracement came in at 119.32, so there's 3 pips there. You notice that the market popped up above the 78% level for a matter of a few minutes, and then immediately was back down below the 78% level. And that's pretty much telling you that that's what you're looking at here, is that this is a really strong resistance. This is extremely important in the euro, folks, because the euro has monster volume. This is thousands of times bigger than this stock stuff that you're looking at, because this is they trade probably $1 trillion a day in the euro versus the US dollar. So we'll watch that closely. But remember that the politics that are happening here in the United States also go across the pond, and we're seeing the same type of a thing happening with Theresa May. We'll put up this chart here in the British pound, because we've been at this same level for quite some time. And remember, the Brexit move that we had way back there on June 28th, I mean, that was a incredible pattern that we had there at the 150 level in the British pound. We had, I think, 4 different ratios coming together at that point. And it was that was our best trade for 2000. And the gold was actually better than, the pound was, but that was a big move in the pound. Of course, we didn't take it all the way down to the bottom. We got out of it around 129 and tried to get back in it at the 135 level, but we missed by a hair's breadth. But here's where we are. We've been rallying all the way up to the 50% level in the past year. We got up to the 135 level, which was very, very close to the 78% level. We came within just a few pips, and now we've backed off just a little bit here in the pound. So this is going to be an interesting one. Keep in mind, folks, that there's a strong seasonal for the currencies to change trends around the first of the year. Why that is, I don't know, but it's still a very, very strong seasonal, and we'll see that. We'll be able to see. Oh, someone just announced here that Tesla has been removed from the list of electric cars eligible for subsidies in Germany. Well, that must mean Germans coming out with their own electric cars, and why should they give them any subsidies? I don't know if you know this, but in Hong Kong, when Tesla came out, they were given a 100% rebate. In other words, if you bought a Tesla, which is a U.S. car, usually there's a 100% tariff on that car. But when they first came out with the Teslas, Hong Kong took away the tariff. So you could buy a $125,000 Tesla for $125,000, which the usual price would be, the usual price on that would be, 125. So you get it for 50% off. That doesn't happen anymore. So whenever you're in Hong Kong looking around and you see lots of Teslas, it's because these were bought prior to this year, because that's when it was they were basically giving them away. So. Okay, here's Secretary. Michael Flynn has been charged with making false statements to the FBI. Wow, holy cow. Who else did something like that? Huh, I can't remember. It's been too long ago. Why would anybody say anything false to the FBI? Oh, I know who it was. It was Clyde Barrow. You all remember Clyde Barrow, don't you, boys and girls? He was with Elliot Ness. Okay, so your question that you have here on Dudette about the E-mini S&P, I think a 5-point stop at these levels are pretty good. I don't think. Thanks, Mike. I think that 5 points is certainly enough here. The reason why it should be enough is because if you can go 10 up and 10 down, that means a 5-point stop, which is $250, is certainly acceptable. Because soon you're not going to be able to trade it for 5 points because the swings are going to be just really crazy. And I wouldn't even think about looking at a top. And this is Friday in an up week, 8 months up. It could close lower, but wait until we got this big date coming here on the full moon. We got this full moon coming in. We got Mercury going retrograde. I mean, this is what you look for. You remember Norm Winsky came on to the show on the 15th of May in 2015, and within 10 minutes of when he said it was going to top, it did. So, wait until Wednesday. Make it simple. Don't try to catch you. And I'm always in there looking for highs and lows. But for this one, when you got the Dow can move 380 points for virtually nothing, wow, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see how things are going to go. We've started here. We're rallying a little bit now in the NASDAQ, which is good. And what is the Dow doing? Doing the exact opposite. The Dow is coming down and the NASDAQ is going up. So go figure. They're changing. They're bifurcating, as they say in the trade. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one as we look at this unfold here. It's going to be quite interesting to see this unfold. Okay, we want to keep an eye here. Keep an eye here on the crude oil, folks. We're having a nice correction here up into the 78-cent level, and it should be pretty interesting to see. Oh, we got a caller in, but we just got a little bit. Roy from Texas, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Larry. How you doing today?
I'm good. What can I do for you, my friend?
With the Bitcoin making the high this past week, I was wondering what you thought of the retracement on it, where it might retrace and go back up.
I speak with John Jameson every day. We did the work on that. The number comes in at 8,400. Watch that real closely. Okay. And that not only that's back to that old high, and it's a 38% retracement of the last move. So watch 8,400 in Bitcoin. It could be a real interesting spot to take a look at it.
Okay, good. I was thinking someplace around 8,000 to 9,000 and everything.
Yeah, well, 8,400 is the ABCD, and that's the one that I would probably take a look at.
What kind of time do you think you have with that? I know it's going so rapidly lately.
Oh yeah, it's crazy, my friend. So I would just wait for the price and then just go for it there. It's hard to pick the time.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in, Roy.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Think or Swim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Okay, folks, we're back, and we wanted to talk just a little bit here about the Tesla. If you'll give me 1 second, I wanted to bring this up and show you a stock that is much weaker than the market. And then right after we finish with that, we will take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average here. This is Tesla. Of course, you can see here we had that big retracement up at that 328 level. That was a 61% retracement on the daily. It also made a 3-drive pattern exactly at the 1.618 expansion. And then you can see how perfect it's been on the way down. I mean, it's just been just pretty much spot on with the ABCD up there at the 322 level, and then the move down. Remember, this was between the 28th and the 30th when the Dow ran 650 points straight up and Tesla came straight down. Folks, this is an example of a stock that is much weaker than the market. So this is not a good chart for Tesla. And longer term, if you look at the daily on this chart, which unfortunately I don't have that, you're looking at a price objective at around 277 in that, and that's a that's a long way, from where we are right now. So keep an eye on that. Once we break below that 300 level in Tesla, you're looking at another $23 to $25 down, which could be quite quickly. Because it's a very high-priced stock that is still losing money, but we'll see. All right, we'll take a look here now at the Dow Jones Industrial Average because we're seeing things we've never seen before, as we've been saying since, since last November when the Dow was trading at 18,000, and now we're 6,000 points higher. And you'll notice that the gaps that we've had here, look at the ones we've had this week, folks. We had we've had 2 already, and we're up around 24,250. Boy, we've got gaps. All these gaps will be filled. So you're looking at least a 3,000 point drop in the Dow if it ever does happen. And remember what Isaac Newton said, what goes up might come down, but if you had to read between the lines, there was a sequel to that. What goes up must come down. And then in parentheses, Newton said, but maybe not in my lifetime. So, and the reason why I say that was in the 1700s, folks. I think it was 1712 or something like that. And he was bearish on London real estate at that time. And look what happened. London real estate went up for 500 years. Not a bad deal. Okay, and it's still going up. By the way, there was a piece of property sold in Hong Kong this past week. 220 square foot apartment, 220 square foot apartment, and it went for 1.2 million US dollars. That's a tad over $20,000 a square foot. So it doesn't seem to be backing off too much there. It's amazing you can buy something in Tucson here for $100 a square foot, but you know, there's not the same thing as in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is one of the greatest international cities in the world. If you ever get a chance to go there, you ought to be able to look at it. Yeah, someone saying that that the offer was for the closet and not for the house. That might be true. Okay, let's move on to a question about that copper move. Basically, folks, that's just an ABCD pattern in the copper with a beautiful head and shoulders pattern. You know, that's what you're watching. So, you know, kind of keep an eye on that. It's an interesting pattern that could be rather important. So watch it. That's basically what we're doing when we're watching these patterns, because, you know, they're all ratios, they're all patterns, but the problem is sometimes they don't work. And one of the reasons when they don't work is when you see a gap. You know, look at the Dow Jones. It's been gapping. We've had 7 gaps in the Dow. Folks, in the history of the Dow Jones, 150 years, we've never had gaps like this. So this is history. We're up 8 months in a row. Go back and tell me the last time you saw the Dow 8 months in a row, either up or down. It just doesn't happen. But this is history, and that's what history is for, to let people know what it's all about. Okay, now we'll get back to another question about the silver and gold, folks. I believe that we're going to get down to the level of 1250. It's around $25 from where we are now in the gold. I believe we got a shot at 15.60 in the silver, which is down at the 78% retracement on the weekly basis. And again, I'm looking at this December time frame, and I'm looking at these cycles that Shane Smolian and also Norm Winsky has brought to our attention. So I think it's important that we watch it, especially on Tuesday and Wednesday when we have the Mercury retrograde and we have the full moon, and then we have the moon as close to the Earth as it gets. Which is known as perigee. So those are big things those have a probability of around 90% of major turns in some of these markets, and it affects everything. Because the lunar cycle is, our bodies are 85% water, and if you ever want a book to really explain to how this stuff works, go to moneytide.com at Dr. Al Larson's site, and ask for his book, Your Electric Life. That will give you a really good idea of why this works. He has double PhDs in electrical engineering and computer sciences, so he's a really smart dude. But that book is written so that you can understand it. Hey, I could even understand that one, but it's just simple, but take a look at it. But Dr. Al Larson, and at moneytide.com, and he doesn't charge for it. It's a free book. He just wants people to... You want to keep it simple anyway, Pete, that's for sure. It's the simple things work the best. I think especially in trading, the simple things work the best, but, one never knows. You have to, keep an eye. There's one other currency that, especially coming in here to the end of the year, that was going to be very interesting. It's one of the majors of the Big Six, which is the Australian dollar. We want to take a look at this one right here. We need to get the Australian dollar down about another 150 pips, and we're going to have a spot on ABCD Gartley. It's going to be real interesting to take a look at. Those of you that get the newsletter, we follow this one each week as we get closer to it to try to get on board. So we'll watch it. But the Big Six, of course, is the euro, the yen, the pound, the Swiss, the Canadian, and the Australian dollar. Those are the Big Six. And we have the same thing happening pretty much in the Canadian dollar, too, because the Canadian has been coming down for several years now, and we should be getting close to a major support here if we can get it down another, it's got to drop quite a bit, because we should be heading down one more time here in the Canadian, and that would give us another shot here at this 115 level. So we'll keep a very, very close eye on that one as we're going through. Remember, folks, on Monday, we have our very special guest, Mr. Dollar Bill from Cycles Research. Bill Meridian out of Cycles Research in Vienna, Austria, will be our guest. And he's got some great news for us about the meeting that went on in Austria. And then also we'll be watching at the, take a look at this thing here. We'll be watching for the, talk to him about these cycles that are coming due. He'll be right on, spot on that time. And of course, he knows a lot about Mercury retrograde because, you know, he's a professional astrologer along with being a financier. So 877-927-6648.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge Heard Daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
It's that time of year again. The TFNN Salvation Army Tiger Dollar Holiday Sale is back. Through this Sunday only, you can get a 25% bonus on any Tiger Dollar purchase, and up to 10% of whatever you spend will be donated to the Salvation Army in your name. This sale only comes around once a year and is one of the most rewarding promotions we have. Tiger Dollars are a great way to add extra savings to any TFNN product or service. Whether you're considering signing up for any newsletter or workshop in the future, or you're already a subscriber, Tiger Dollars offer an immediate savings on any TFNN newsletter, webinar, workshop, or Master Trader series. And they never expire and are fully transferable to friends and family. For all the details and to take part in this special promotion, visit the front page of TFNN.com before this sale ends Sunday, December 3rd. And happy holidays from TFNN. Basil Chapman will be hosting a full-day Master Trader class Friday, December 8th from 9 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. This live 7.5-hour online class will teach you the complete concepts of Basil's Chapman Wave trading methodology, along with a variety of indicators and charting patterns that Basil uses on a daily basis, including the concept of higher peaks and lower troughs, the importance of the peak D, buy and sell modes, sustaining rallies and declines, MACD, stochastic, moving averages, on-balance volume, and much more. Everyone that attends will also receive Basil's CD book introducing the Chapman Wave methodology, a $249 value, along with 1 month of his daily trading newsletter, The Opening Call, a $128 value. Basil will be using live charts where and when possible in the webinar to show the concepts of his trading methodology, which works on all time frames. For all the details and to reserve your spot today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, we're back, and we want to remind us that we've got these big cycles coming up here early in the week, Tuesday, Wednesday. It could come in as early as Monday, maybe even over the weekend, but we want to pay close attention to it because these are really big. We've got these lunar cycles plus Mercury, going retrograde. That's going to be pretty big, and watch that. The big ones to watch this coming week, of course, we want to be watching the gold and the silver because we think we're getting really close to a really strong cyclical bottom here. in December. We're going to try to get in as close as we can to what we think is the bottom, and we'll just wait to see when that occurs, but we still got a little bit more time. I apologize for missing the part about the new moon, but we have a full moon coming up here on Sunday the 2nd, and that's when we have our Mercury retrograde, so that's going to be really, really interesting here come over the weekend and Monday. So this is going to be a big one. So watch that with a great deal of anticipation, because there should be a lot of trend changes in just about everything, and especially the grain markets. Keep an eye on these, the wheat, soybeans, corn. They're all in areas where they could have some substantial rallies in here. And with the U.S. dollar doing what it's doing, we could also see some, buying coming in, just because that dollar has made that ABCD correction that we talked about down at that 93.50 level. That is held. We're rallying sharply off of that. That's where the euro's backing off. And so this is something that all fits together and should give us a little bit more information as we look at this coming into next week. So that's what we're watching here, folks. So keep a close eye on this. And got the old clock on the wall says it's about time to take off. So I want to wish everybody a great weekend and live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless. And the final question is, should we buy cattle here? And my answer to that is, we better ask Rich Anderson. We're going to have him on next week, probably on Tuesday, but Bill Meridian will be on Monday. And have a wonderful weekend.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks!